Hello and welcome to MyOn Training. Let's just jump right in. So to start, you're going to go to the Legacy homepage, Staff Links, and click on the Teacher Symbolu. Then you can click on the MyOn link, course login. Once you're in, if you probably haven't already created your roster, but if you have, it will show up here. So I'm going to show you how you can create a roster. You're going to go to Classroom and Students and Assign. And then you want to click on Building Legacy Elementary, pick your grade, say kindergarten, and then you're going to find all your students and put a check mark beside them. Go all the way through the whole list till you have your whole class, and then click Apply, and they will show up here. If you need to edit them, you can click here. If you need to remove someone, you can click and remove them. Or you can create a new one. If you get a new student, you can add it to your roster. I'll actually create the new student in the program, but then you can add it to your roster. All right, so once you've got a roster complete, you may want to also set up a group. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, a group helps you put people together, students together that maybe are part of one of your small groups for reading. Maybe it's the homeroom class for each reading class that you have in the upper grades. There's various reasons why you might want to put a group together. Maybe it's for the higher kids for a blitz time, or vice versa, the lower kids. Whatever reason, I'm going to walk you through the steps to create a group because there's a lot you can do with it. So first thing you want to do is click on Add Group, and you're going to title this group, and I'm just going to call mine a practice group. And maybe it's my first period or first rotation. Okay, then you look at student self-enrollment. If you would like your students to enroll themselves in this group, which is a little faster maybe, then you can click on Save, and it's going to generate this code. So if you're in a lab setting, that would probably be the fastest way to do this. Have them all log into MyOn, give them this group code. When they tap in the group code from their individual login, it automatically puts them in a group. That might be great for the upper grades. If maybe for pre-K or kindergarten you don't want to do that, then you can go back, add a group. We'll put small group 1. High group. This is just an example. And then if it's on off, then you're going to individually add your students to a group. So I'm going to click Save there. And now I can just assign kids to that small group, just like you created a roster. Putting in the building and the grade, and then selecting the kids you want in that group. Okay, so 2 different ways to add a group. Either let the students do it by generating this code for them, or if you want to just do it as a teacher, you can do it by clicking that off on student self-enrollment. So once you've got your group created, then there's lots of things you can do with that. So let's look at the first thing. Let's go to Library. When you click on Library, you have a lot of choices here. And I want to show you this first. I'm going to go to Standards, and you're going to click Texas here. And then let's say you're a science teacher. I'm going to click on Science. Brings up the TEKS. Let's say 5th grade. And then you can click on Science again and search. So this tells us that MyOn has 317 books for science. And if you want to look at each individual standard, you can do that, and it shows how many books. So let's just scroll down. Let's see. How about matter and energy? Okay, let's say I want to see, hey, what books do they have there? It's going to show me all the 9 books that go with that topic. Gives me Lexile levels, grade levels, guided reading letters, and page count, and then how long it takes the student to hear the audio book. All right, so keep those things in mind, because if you would like to make a project around these books, you can create a project, assign it to a group, and then they can see that project, see what their tasks are, what books go with that project, and then you can see their progress, how far they've gone, and take grades from it. Lots you can do. So let's go ahead and create a project. The first thing you want to do, if you're in this section here, and you're the science teacher in 5th grade, and you want to maybe assign this book, you can click there, and then go back to Classroom. Wait, sorry. Let's go ahead and, back up. Let's go to Classroom and Projects. And I'm backing up a few steps so that we can get our project created first. So I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to title it Matter and Energy 1, and make a due date of, we'll say, the 20th, and description is for you, whatever you want to put there. Tags, it's good to usually go ahead and put legacy and FISD. You might put matter and energy. That's real important for the next step, because you can mark this, put a check mark here, and then you're able to share this project with all the teachers at Legacy. So that's a great way to share with your team, or anybody else that you want to share this with. Go ahead and put the grade level in that you think is best, and project objective. This is what you want your students to see. So, type in student will be able, or whatever you want to say there. Okay. Then the other cool thing is you can add tasks to this. So let's say you want to add a graphic organizer. Okay, you click on graphic organizer, it brings up all these choices. Maybe you want them to work on, we'll say a KWL chart, whatever you decide is best. Okay, so you're going to give it a title, maybe KWL chart, and then you're going to type exactly what you want the students to do. You will need to blah, 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 whatever you want to say there. So then you're going to go back. It's created it and put it right there. And so now we're going to save that. Okay, so here's our project. All right, we want to now go back to library and those standards, and here we are back right where we left off in 5th grade science. So we've already checked this one. Let's go ahead and say, that's the one I want to assign to a project. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to click on the project that I just titled, Matter and Energy, and save. So now it's added that one book that we had checked. So, okay. And if you want to add a couple more books that maybe go along with that, you can do that. Add to project, matter and energy, save, and just keep doing that for however many books you want to add. Okay, so now you've got your project created. Let's assign a group to that project. So let's go back to Classroom, Projects. Okay, and this is the one we were working on, matter and energy. So I'm going to do assign, and I'm going to put 5th grade, and groups. Okay, so let's say I wanted to put my small group 1 in there. Check that. This is my small group I created earlier, and apply. Now, granted, those were kindergarten students, but just for example's sake, that's how easy it is to insert those kids in. Now they're going to see an orange tab when they log in that's going to show them, hey, an assignment has just been given to you, a new project, and they can click on that and see what you have typed in as the description for what they need to do to complete that task. If you want to see how the students are doing, you can click on this eye, and it's going to show you how far their progress has made, how much progress they've made on the task, who all has started. Just gives you all the information about that group that you assigned to that project. So hopefully you can find some ways to use that. Also, hopefully you can find some ways to use the standards to search for things. So don't think MyOn's just for reading teachers. You could do science, social studies, math, of course, ELAR, anything you want to do. The TEKs are here. You can search by titles. So many things you can do from library. So we've got groups, we've got projects. I really liked that feature where you could do the graphic organizer. So I'm going to go back to that real quick and show you a couple of other things. Let's just create a new project just for test purposes. You would want to add a description if you want to, tags, you can share it, project objective, all those things. But just for time's sake, I'm going to show you. You saw all those graphic organizers. You have all those choices there. But also, if you're a writing teacher, you can do a writing task. Okay, you give it a title. Maybe it's compare, and it helps if I can type, but compare and contrast, maybe. And then tell them what they need to do. Write 2 paragraphs on whatever. And you can set word goals, time goals. This is what I think is really neat, peer review. If you put a check mark there, it allows other students that are put in this project to view and comment on each other's writings, which is really neat. So if you're a writing teacher and you want to assign a task, they can do it all in MyOn. You can also assign a group and review what the progress of the group is. And, I think the students might think that's a fun way to create and complete a task in a writing class. Okay, so we got a couple more things to look at. The next thing is reports. So I'm going to go back. We're already in Classroom. I'm just going to show you. If you go to Classroom, then Reports, they've added a lot of reports this year. So if you've looked at this before, there's going to be a lot more choices. And I know you can read all these. Just going to highlight a few. Core Report just gives you basic data, how their progress and activity is going. Quizzes, they've added some things to quizzes. I'm going to just click on one real quick. Practice group, run report. Let's just see. These kids have not taken any quizzes. Had they taken a quiz, it's going to show their name, how many quizzes they've taken, their average score. But it's also going to tell you how did they do on the main idea questions. How many answers did they get correctly on vocabulary questions or supporting detail or inference or interpretation? So it gives you a breakdown of how they answered correctly on those specific objectives. And that's a new feature that I think is very helpful. So that one's under Core Reports. Now let's go back. That was under Quizzes. Another one that might be of interest to you is Timeline. And that just gives you a trajectory of where those students should end up by the end of the year. So this is where the student falls now and projecting where they should be. This shows through November. You can set the range for longer. This was set at through November 7th, but we can adjust that range right here. So I might want to select, to the very end of the year and see where that might take us.